Okay, we're doing something in December that we usually do in November, and that is move our some of these splits that are sitting over a double screen board around and get them on the proper colonies in the proper locations. This yard got split back in late summer, so I guess you could call these late summer, early fall queens in the entire yard actually. We left the bottoms with 2 frames of brood and a queen cell and did the same thing in a number of boxes that were sitting over a double screen board. And some of them left this location. Some of the splits were taken away in a 5-frame nuke box. And the reason we leave several of these double screen board splits behind, let that truck go by. Kind of a noisy place. We got US Highway 441 right out there. The reason we do some of these splits over a double screen board is we know that when we put queen cells on pallets that we're not going to have a super good take. When we requeen an entire yard with queen cells, when the colonies are on pallets, we usually only have about maybe a 70% take, occasionally 75%. And then when we get back and check them, we can take some of those splits that were over double screen board and fix the spots that didn't take well. We've already placed these double screen boards on top of an existing lid. In other words, put a lid on the single below, got them ready to move, and we're just ready to pick them up. 20 degrees, it's good temperature for moving bees. You don't have to smoke them unless you really drop them or get really rowdy with them. So we just pick them up and throw them on the truck. And then we got a location that's about 20 miles south of here that's much warmer. It has a good windbreak from the north. This location is one of our worst for the winter. Although it's in full sun, that direction right there is north. And whenever we get a cold Arctic blast, which is going to happen in a day or two, it comes from that direction. As you can see, there's no windbreak at all, so this yard is wide open. Now the colonies that are down low on the pallets are a little larger than the splits that are above, so I think they'll be fine. They're averaging probably 5 frames of bees right now, so I think we'll be okay. But those little nukes sitting over a double screen board are averaging about 3 frames. They definitely need to be set on some stronger colonies, get that warmth coming up through the double screen board. They're not real heavy. How heavy is that, Seth?
Oh, it's probably 45 pounds.
45 pounds, yeah. But because it's only 3 frames of bees, they got enough food to last until February. The location they're going to, south of here, the maple will actually start putting out pollen in mid-February, and that'll be the time when we start equalizing and probably adding a little brood to these little colonies. And in this location, the pollen from maples will probably start around the 4th of March or the 10th of March. This is a higher elevation and a little bit farther north. Got the Walmart over there. Got the Home Depot over there. I was in Walmart a couple years ago, and they have a garden department there, and I was looking at plants, and a girl came out to help me, and she said, I don't know where all these bees are coming from on these flowers. And I didn't say anything. It looks so, yeah, let's see what the bottom looks like. You know, in this cold weather, a lot of times, if they've got plenty of food, they're not really up at the top bars, they're mostly down at the bottom.
Sounds like they are.
Oh yeah, that's a decent colony, so they can stay.
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a good one there, wall to wall. Kind of hard to see unless you dig in there, but that's a nice one. So this is a really good winter spot. I think we got some good colonies here to put these double screen boards on top of. We'll go through them real quick and see how big the clusters are. Pick the big ones. I don't like opening colonies when it's this cold, so we're not going to be moving frames. We're just kind of taking a peek to see which ones are big. Good windbreak, good north windbreak, lots of sun. This is one of our better winter spots, so good place to put all these. That's it doesn't look like much, but that's a real tight cluster. I can see it from here. It goes from there all the way over in here. So I actually think that's a pretty good heater. That's a pretty big one. Can you see that? See, that'll be a nice heater. And that's in both boxes, so that's a pretty big cluster. That'll take a double screen board on top. This one already is a double screen board.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good double screen board. Okay. Let's see what's going on in the bottom. Yeah, that's actually 5-6 frames of bees. I'm just going to put this back together. This one was meant to move, but I don't see any need to move it at all. That's a good heater. One of the things about these bees we're raising, these Caucasian carniolan, they don't overwinter with really huge clusters, so at times that can be a drawback, times like this, but in other ways I like it that way. Yeah, that'll make a nice heater. Heater, that's what I'm calling them, heaters. A lot of people don't realize, you know, in the summertime when the bees are rearing brood, they'll keep their hive at 94, 95 degrees, but even when there's no brood, the center of the cluster is about 83, 84. So a fair amount of heat can rise up out of there, keep these colonies up above a little warmer than they would be. It's an okay colony, but I don't want to use it as a double screen heater. Should have done this when it was warmer, but it almost seems like we're a day late on some things. Oh yeah, that's probably the biggest one. It's also a little lighter too. We probably brooded up, kept brooding late. Most of these boxes have been pretty full. That's good enough. See? Yeah. That's a good one. You know, we're always tempted to say that the biggest clusters, we call them the good ones. It doesn't mean it's the best colony, honestly. It just means it's overwintering with a bigger cluster. Probably has a little more Italian genetics in it than the others. A huge cluster does not mean it's the best colony in the yard. Now that one's not that big, so that'll work. That'll work.
Yeah. You got a few bees hanging out.
Seth, I smelled the bananas.
Oh man.
And that alarm pheromone kind of reminds you of the smell of bananas. And once you smell it, you got it. But until you smell it for the first time, it doesn't seem right, doesn't make sense. But once you smell it, you understand.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people might think this is a lot of trouble, but it kind of works for us. We brought in 25 of these units and put them over these heat sources. What we got here is something we can either sell as an overwintered nuke in mid to late March, or we can choose to use it ourselves. These could potentially be our very best colonies next summer because they will have a mature overwintered queen that is, so to speak, low mileage. She'll be proven, and ready to really go to town in the spring. And these could be very good units. If we sell them for overwintered nucs, we can usually get $10 or $20 more than we would sell a spring nuc for. My guess is we'll probably choose to just use these ourselves. You can see that I really didn't pay attention to which direction the entrance is going. On double deep colonies, a double screen board can be facing the front or facing the back. I really don't care. If it's a single story, I like it to be facing the back so that the two entrances aren't, you know, competing with each other, traffic coming and going in the same space. But double deeps, I really don't care. I think we'll do quite well here with these overwintering. Unless a queen goes bad in one or two, I think all of them will make it. So really happy with what we did here. Anything you can think of to say, Seth? Seth is speechless. Seth, by the way, took 70 colonies to down close to the Florida border for the winter. He just reported to me today. He was just there yesterday, and he said, those darn colonies down there already have 2 frames of brood on them. You just took them 3 weeks ago?
About 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah. I told him that would happen. They got that they got that wild radish blooming down there, instant pollen coming in. Those things started laying eggs the next day, I'm sure. So he's going to have 70 colonies down there to split early. That's the reason I used to go to South Georgia for the winter, was for making lots of packages and nucs in the spring. These days I just stay home and get a later start and sell a few less, and that's okay. Anyway, so we got a few more of these to move. Starting to warm up now. It's in the 30s, so I think we'll wait till tomorrow morning to do the rest. We've got another couple yards chosen to use as heat sources, good yards that we can put some of these on. And then it's going to get cold later in the week, and won't be doing anything with the bees. This afternoon we're going to do our second round of oxalic acid. We did the first round 2 weeks ago, and it's too cold this morning, but by lunchtime it's going to be warm enough to start doing oxalic. I'm going to send out 2 crews. Seth and Selena will go one direction, and John and Jason will go another. And I think within 2 or 3 days we'll have the whole outfit treated again, and then we'll wait 2 more weeks. Sometime in January we'll do our 3rd round. Colonies are a little light. Oh, it's John. Let's see what John has to say. Hey, John.
Hey, Bob. How long is it going to be before till y'all get back to the shop?
About 20 minutes.
Okay, because everything that we need is in the black truck.
Really? Okay. Okay, we'll be there in 20 minutes, and you can leave immediately because by the time you get down here, it'll be warm enough. It'll be in the upper 30s by the time you get here.
Okay, we'll be ready to go once you get here. We'll be ready.
Okay, see you in a few.
Bye, yes, sir.
Bye.
Bye.
We took the truck John used last week. His respirator mask is in this truck. I forgot about that. Anyway, actually I didn't think we'd be this long. We've been tinkering. Seth and I have been tinkering a little this morning. Okay, let's get home.